Security came, they thought he was trying to attack me. But he
Yeah.
said, no. He said, give me Jesus right now. That's what Bakersfield is saying.
So, Mario, I've been waiting till now to ask you what's going on in Bakersfield, so please fill us in.
We're going to do a tent crusade on March the 12th through the 15th in Bakersfield, and it's a very needy city. But let me tell you what's going on there. It is a city that is trying to turn to God.
Mm.
It's a city where our workers are going door to door and masses are being born again. Now, these conversions that are taking place, and the last time we were there, I want to give you a vivid example. I'm preaching in Bakersfield. We can't get the people in the tent. The temperature outside is 40 degrees, and people are shivering in the cold, standing out there for hours. Lost souls, people that don't know God. My sermon is interrupted by one of the leading drug dealers of the city of Bakersfield, who has in his possession a large bag of marijuana buds worth a lot of money. And he's holding it up and he runs to the front. And it's like something you'd read out of Finney. He's quaking. We have it on video. He's quaking. He throws it on the floor and he says, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot. Security came. They thought he was trying to attack me. But he said, no. He said, give me Jesus right now. That's what Bakersfield is saying. Now, we're going door to door giving thousands of boxes of food, groceries, clothing in the poor sections of Bakersfield. And they literally want prayer more than groceries. They want God. And what our critical shortage is workers. We don't have nearly enough workers. That's what led me to the book that I wrote called It's Our Turn Now, where I describe the greatest undercurrent in American history is that souls are ripening. Because of wokeness, Americans have had the color of life, the innocence of life, the enjoyment of life has been drained out of them, suffocated by a mask, terrified by a vaccine, told that they're racist, told that they are incapable of anything decent and that their words have to be marked. Their employment has to be judged according to something they may have posted 10 years ago on social media. Americans are rebelling and revolted by this, and they're all ripening together. This is what I find. 12 minutes into a sermon, I have to stop because the audience wants to get saved.
Wow.
This is why I sit there and I'm watching prostitutes, homeless people, drug addicts saved. I can't get enough workers. They're busy trying to get a prophetic word. They're sitting contemplating their navel, wanting to understand things that are truly irrelevant. And then they wonder why I get upset.
It's because Jesus says, pray to the Lord of the harvest to send laborers into the harvest fields, because the harvest is white. It is ready to be picked. And I mean, this is what the Bible has been telling us about for thousands of years, is that the harvest is ready. And Mario is out there preaching the gospel and seeing this harvest coming in. And we can't be laying back and just being spectators and wondering how these things are going to affect us. We need to go be the ones that are making that change. And that's why it's our turn. It's our turn now. Like, Mario, tell us about what is in this book, because right now I am feeling this passion. I am feeling the Spirit of God rising up in me, because I want to get out there and tell people about Jesus. And we haven't even gotten into the first chapter of your book yet. Tell me about what is going on here. I'm so excited about what happened in Bakersfield. This is amazing.
Yeah, and it's going on even as we speak right now. And let me tell you, in the book, any pastor that will take this book, take it aside, seek God, you'll turn your church into a soul-winning machine. Amen. There's no doubt in my mind. I can tell you that within 30 days of you finishing this book, that you will not only have a plan, but an understanding about what you're preaching right now versus what you might start to see in your content that'll change. This is also helping the parent to deal with public schools. This is helping the average Christian to understand that they are on this planet for a specific harvest. And here's what the verse. It's in John 4:35, one of the principal ones, and then we need to talk about Elijah a little bit.
Yes, please.
John 4:35 says, "Do you not say there are yet 3 or 4 months and then comes the harvest?" Here is what, when we read stories and analysis of demographics, like say Barna Report or others, or they do a sociological profile on Americans, and they say, well, they're not going to church. And we take that to mean that Christianity's in decline in America. No, it isn't. It means that I'm reevaluating my spiritual condition. I've left these traditional churches because I'm reevaluating my spiritual condition. And that is exactly what happened in the Jesus movement. When God saved millions of young people in the Jesus movement, church attendance by teenagers had dropped to 5%. So they didn't leave God, they left church. And when they left church, they became more aware of the voice of God, and their experience with drugs, the death of Kennedy, the Beatles, and several cultural factors rendered them spiritually devastated. And some turned to LSD, but others, for the same reason, turned to the Spirit of God and became Christian. So here's the next part of that verse. And this is in the Living Bible, which is an excellent rendering of this. Do you not say there are yet 4 or 5 months and then comes the harvest? But I say to you, look to the fields. Vast fields of human souls are ripening all around you. And so I never heard that before. How does a soul ripen? How does a soul, a human soul, ripen in the things of God? Well, we know in an orchard how it happens. You have nutrients, you have sunshine, you prune the plant, and you do all kinds of things. But here's what the farmer understands. It's all going to ripen and near the same time. He knows when I planted this field, and it's all going to happen at the same time. They've gone through the same rain, the same sunshine, the same feeding and watering, and it's all going to happen. This is what I'm warning you about. Millions of Americans went through the same pandemic, the same disappointment in government, the same disillusionment, and to question their genders and everything else. The reset button has been pressed. But what we don't get is that in a spiritual vacuum, the hurricane of God can occur. And we're already watching it happen. But this book, I wrote it so that we wouldn't miss the harvest. We wouldn't be so preoccupied. The devil wouldn't lie to us and say, oh, you can't do it, or America is unreachable, or people don't want church, and all these other myths and distractions. And suddenly we're ready, and we're ready for the harvest.